Hello and welcome back to Anywhere But Here, episode 239. My name is Tom.
And my name's Zen.
And you can find us at abhpod.com, where on the right-hand side of the page, or if you're on your phone, it's kind of halfway down if you scroll.
Yeah.
There's because I used it on my phone the other day and I was like, it's not the right-hand side. You can find the Amazon banner, where you click through that, you do your shopping on Amazon as you do for everything. And we get 5% of your total basket spend with no extra cost to you at all. We just get a little bit off the top of Amazon's profits, chipping away at them. And that allows us to pay for our hosting fees.
It does. I will like to add as well, because now you're saying when I was on my phone it didn't show up, I will also add that because of the method Amazon uses to deliver that banner, if you have a pop-up blocker installed, that banner will not show up. So if you disable the pop-ups on our website, then the banner will show up. Because you might have been there and gone, where's the banner? What the fuck are they talking about? But what you will see, even with your pop-up blocker, is the Patreon banner, which is a really good way to support us, because you get something out of it as well, without spending too much money, just $1 a month, or however much you want to donate, because there is an option to increase if you want, and we know that for a fact now because we did check. After saying this for weeks, we've actually checked, and it is true. You can increase your pledge, but $1 a month is enough. $12 a year, you know. You get like extra content. You get spoiler casts the week we record them. So if you're a supporter, there may be a spoiler cast coming at you.
There may well be.
You get After the Podcast, which is exclusive to the patrons. No one else ever hears those. You get YouTube content early when it goes up, like either a couple of days early or a week early. And you get this episode without the intros as well. And all of the audio content is delivered. You can get your own sort of private RSS feed that you put that into your podcast app, and it will just download all of it. So you will get the main episode and you will get the extra stuff. So yeah, it just comes down to you automatically. All the Patreon stuff just comes down to you automatically, and it's good. It's convenient for you. It supports us and it allows us to keep doing this. Plus, if we reach a certain goal, then we will bring back Ship Time Transit. I am going to push that.
Indeed.
Keep pushing
and
that.
We're not far off it.
We're not
now,
far
are
off of it, no.
So, you know, if you increase your pledges slightly,
yeah, you may get it.
Or if new people sign up. I mean,
if new people sign up. Yeah.
You can find us on Twitter at ABH Pod, or you can find us on Facebook.com/ABH and we're also on YouTube.com/ABH Podcast.
Yes, it's a way. There is a way to get in contact with us in a way that other people won't see it. You can email us abhpod@gmail.com if you want to criticise us, if you want to praise us. We're open to all.
Or if you want to answer the algebraic formula that we put forward on this episode.
What could that be?
On this episode, in fact, we talk about the Momo challenge, whether or not the media storm surrounding it is a good thing or a bad thing.
Yes, we inevitably talk about Trump and Brexit, of course. That always happens.
We go a little bit Top Gear with some electric vehicle type stuff. We talk about Tesla a lot because of SpaceX.
Tom has teased that we do talk maths in English as well. And on the subject of English, we do sort of discuss what is the hardest book you've read. It may be Mr. Greedy.
But first, let's talk about the weather.
Let's enjoy.
It's windy.
It's very windy out there. You probably won't hear that on this recording, but we can hear it, and it's distracting.
We're in the midst of Storm Freya.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't realise
it's a proper storm.
Oh,
yes.
I didn't know we had a named storm going
yes.
on. Oh, okay. That makes sense then.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's just the two of us this week.
It
feels a bit odd.
It does feel strange, doesn't it? There's no one else down here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm in my seat.
You're in your chair
for the first time in like 2 months, which is a bit weird.
Yeah, I wonder if like the guys when they come on, they realise that they've sort of taken your seat.
I give up. My seat
actually, you
for
sat
our
there with
guests.
Dan and Jim, didn't you? Dan and Jim sat next to each other there.
No.
Did they not?
No, I sat.
You
next to
you were here, and Dan and Jim. Yeah, were in those two. Okay. I mean, obviously, with this audio sort of thing, we're pointing at positions
we're
around the
assuming
table.
that you remember back to the episode where I built the pod and we first came in here and described the interior for you.
That's it, yeah. Or you've looked on Facebook and seen the pictures.
Like 3 years ago.
Yeah. Some of you did.
Yeah.
I had a weird thing the other day. I'm going to have to load it up just so I get her name correctly. Now, have you ever heard of a lady called Shira Lazar?
I can't say that I have.
Okay, maybe she's like internet famous. Like
That's why I don't know her.
Like YouTube podcast famous. Have you heard
no.
of a show called What's Trending?
That rings a bell.
Okay, she's a founder of What's Trending.
Right,
And I think it's a
okay.
website as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, she randomly followed me on Twitter the other day. I was like, oh, Shira
Excellent.
Lazar's following me. Brilliant. That's great. And then I looked, she's also following 263,000 other people.
Oh, it makes you feel slightly less special.
Yeah.
But then, to be fair, there are millions and millions and millions of people out there.
Yeah. Why me?
Why you?
Yeah, it was
I
just
mean,
weird.
why Tayzonde follows us, I don't know.
That's a good point. And the voice of Siri.
Yeah. And it's like Joe is being followed by Nate off the Foo Fighters.
Really?
Yeah.
The guitarist.
The guitarist.
Who also plays for Me First and the Gimme Gimmes.
That's right.
That one.
Yeah. Nate, what's his face?
Oh,
I can't
really?
remember his
Okay.
last name. Mandel.
And then you just look at it sometimes and you go, huh.
And he only follows like a few thousand people.
Oh,
And she's
okay.
like, I have no, and she checks in every now and then to make sure he's still following her.
Yeah, you do. You
But
have
she's
to.
like, I have no idea. Maybe he thinks I'm someone else or something.
Twitter is so weird like
It
that.
is strange, isn't it?
It's
Yeah.
so weird that you can just contact we've both had like tweets and things
'Cause
liked by
clearly-
Kevin Smith and people
Yeah.
like that. It's like he's seen my name.
Yeah,
He knows. Well, at that point in time, he was aware of my
He read-
existence.
yeah.
Like
But it must be something that you've tweeted.
I don't tweet a lot. It's
No,
my personal
I know.
account.
Yeah.
So, like, what are the last few things I've tweeted? This could be dodgy. I retweeted the Ritz Cricker and Dick's Disturbance.
Right.
For reasons.
Yes.
I tweeted about slow-mo guys. Mm-hmm. I did do a couple of the Good Place tweets the other day.
So maybe she's interested in that.
Yeah, I finished watching it now, and the last episode, there's a character in it. It's hard to describe what she is. She's not a person. She's not a robot. She's just a being.
Right. Okay.
You know, you watch it. It's funny. She's Janet. She's that actress is fantastic. But then, the main character in it says to her, for a robot, you make a really good girlfriend.
Right.
And she just said, I'm 1 out of 3 of those things. And then you're like, what? And then you try and think of it. It's like, she's not a robot. She's not a girl.
Right.
So it must be the friend part of it. And you're just like, oh, that's really like, that's just really good writing.
Good writing.
That's really good writing. So I tweeted about The Good Place. Oh, and then there's nothing really recently that would, I think, she'd look at it and go, I'm going to follow that person. Other than possibly podcast stuff.
Maybe. Yeah. Ooh.
But, what's trending? Maybe we'll get a feature at some point. Who knows?
What's her name?
Shira Lazar.
Hi, Shira.
Yeah.
Because obviously you're listening.
Yeah, clearly. Because she followed my personal account and not the podcast account. Unless you didn't know, then it's at ABH Pod Shira. So,
Yeah.
as we said in the intro already.
Indeed.
Oh, well. I don't know. The internet baffles me sometimes.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the point of this podcast, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bafflement at the internet and the world and everything.
Yeah.
There's been a lot gone on in the last couple of weeks. Like, not anything out of the ordinary.
There's been something that's happened, and I don't know if you're going to bring it up, but it's like a hoax thing that's been going around.
Yeah.
That's just completely taken off this week.
Yeah.
But I was aware of it 8 or 9 months ago.
Yeah, it first surfaced back in August, right?
Possibly,
is what I've read.
yeah.
Is what I've read. I don't remember seeing it back.
And I
in
remember
August.
it being a thing then.
Right.
And like my daughter saw it and it's terrifying. It's
We're
fucking
talking about
terrifying.
the Momo challenge, aren't we?
Every time I load up Facebook, I get anxiety when I load up Facebook now because I
Right.
know I'm going to see that face.
Yeah, and it's not a nice thing to look at, is it? No. I tweeted a thing where
It
someone
genuinely
had,
gives me chills when I see it.
It's unsettling to look at, isn't it? That face, the Momo face.
Yeah, I've never actually seen the video with Momo.
No, nor have I.
So I don't know. I imagine it's just a sculpture. So it doesn't move. It's always in that position.
Okay.
But I think it's accompanied by some creepy audio.
Yeah. I've not either, but it's got to the point where, yeah, like
I could see as it loaded, like your face just slightly changed when you saw it. It was really subtle. I was watching for you, and you kind of backed away from your screen ever so slightly.
it's just creepy. And maybe I should have done a little bit of research into the videos for this episode, but I didn't even think about it actually until we started talking about it just then. No, but I tweeted and shared something on Facebook the other day from the ABH Pod account.
Yes, I did see.
Which was the Theresa May. Someone had superimposed it on Theresa May's face. Fantastic. Which was pretty funny.
I've seen quite a few. I saw J-Mo as well.
Right, yeah.
Which was J-Lo with Momo's face.
Yeah. But I also found was it Snopes or was it Full Fact? Sorry.
Yeah.
Who I rate quite heavily, because they're a brilliant organisation. Actually, they're completely self-funded, and they look into everything from like political policies and stuff. Like if this person in politics has claimed a thing, they actually do the research.
And do they as well? They're not necessarily where Snopes sort of looks to debunked things.
Yeah.
Full Fact do they look at trends as well, don't they?
That's
Why is
right.
this trending? What's happening here? What would happen here? And whereas Snopes is specifically for sort of debunking or researching things.
Yeah, finding out whether it's true or false, basically. Isn't it? And what they've found about this Momo challenge thing is that, like, there were a couple of spikes. If you look at the statistics in August, they've got a graph basically.
Did you tweet this? Did you put this out from your personal account?
Yeah, this was from my personal account. Yeah, they've got a graph, and it's from August 2018, which is roughly when this first started happening, and it goes through till February 2019 along the bottom of the graph. Then up the side, you've got 0 to 14,000.
Yeah.
Which is the number of mentions.
Yeah.
On, like, I don't know. So I don't know whether it's social media.
It'd be a hashtag or something, wouldn't it? Yeah.
But like in August and September, like the little bars they don't even get to the first number, which is 200. Yeah. So they're tiny. You know, it must be in tens.
Yeah.
If that, really. And then it goes quiet by about November.
It fizzled out. Yeah.
There's nothing in December, January, and February. There starts to be these tiny little spikes. Then all of a sudden, like last week, basically, it spikes up to nearly 1,400.
Now, this was mentions in media outlets, wasn't it? Not
UK,
necessarily
UK media.
So not from normal personal accounts and things like that. This is from when when the media outlets, the news outlets, started talking about it.
And in actual fact, it's the news outlets that have caused this kind of hysteria. Yeah, really.
And it is. There's a lot of fear. There's all these like charities going out there, and this is what to do if your child looks. Because the Momo challenge, the Momo thing is absolutely horrific.
It's diabolical.
They're doing.
Yeah.
What the people are doing with it. If you're not aware of it, they're basically is it on YouTube or it's anywhere really? Facebook, YouTube. So they're taking like the episodes of Peppa Pig and things like that, children's episodes, and then they're splicing in this Momo video with this creepy face, telling the children to kill themselves and how to do it. And how to kill themselves. Yeah. Like, go and do this. This is a challenge.
Like stick your head in the oven and turn it on.
It's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
And so, yes, it's great that the news, like the media, are making people aware of this. Yeah. But they've also caused panic.
Yeah. There's been a couple of outlets. I think the Telegraph looked into it and essentially debunked it as a hoax.
Yeah, which it is.
Because what Full Fact is saying is there's no clear evidence that anyone has actually been subject to the Momo challenge as described, as you just described.
So there's no evidence saying that a child has watched it and killed themselves.
Yeah. Either in the UK or abroad, children's charities and other experts in the field have described the Momo challenge as a hoax. And several media organisations, including iNews, The Guardian and The Atlantic, have done a good job of debunking it and explaining the background of the story. Yet while there are now a number of organisations pouring cold water on Momo, the story has had a significant impact on many children and parents. I mean, in turn, the police and schools are having to tell children about this thing, which
they might not have been aware of.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
And I know that one of our friends, who is a parent herself, has had to have the conversation with her daughter about it, because her daughter said that a friend of hers had seen it and it told her to jump off a cliff or they'll hurt her family.
Yeah.
I'm unclear as to whether these videos really exist or whether this is just urban legend.
I think
or what.
I think
again,
the videos do exist,
yeah.
but I think they probably weren't getting as much. The viewership wasn't huge. They didn't have a huge amount of views. But now, because of this, people are looking for it to see what it is. So the views are spiked. The problem we've got now. So to play devil's advocate, the media have caused this hysteria.
Yeah.
But so if you look at it a different way, the media are talking about it, so parents are now aware that their children might be exposed to this video.
And that's the reason that they're doing it.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have known, and our kids might have watched it without us knowing that it existed.
Yeah.
So they've caused the hysteria, but they've also informed people. But they've also now made more children aware of it.
Yes.
Because the parents have to tell their children about it.
Yeah.
So more children are now seeing it.
Yeah.
Than they would have done normally.
True.
But at the same time, the conversation's happening.
Yeah.
It's weird. So we've had to have the conversation with Chloe because she's now coming home and looking for videos with Momo because people are talking about it at school. She's now coming home. She's terrified of it. She's had nightmares. She's not wanting to go to bed because of it.
Wow.
But
I can imagine.
Being a child, you've got the morbid curiosity.
Yeah.
My friends are all talking about it. What is it?
Yeah,
she's now looking for it.
Yeah.
So we've obviously got to have the conversation. It's messed up. The whole
makes me wonder though how many of these videos actually existed before this, because now as well what will happen is more people will be making these videos specifically for this purpose, and they'll be doing it as some sort of sick copycat joke thing that they'll think it's really funny,
and it will be children creating it as well.
Probably
there will be people from secondary schools like a year or two above my daughter who are now making these videos to scare their friends with different messages and things like that because it's
more
easy
specific.
to do.
Yeah,
more specific. They may actually target children by name. Shit, I hadn't thought about that. I just got chills.
I mean, it's as I said earlier on, it's despicable, and but I think it's. I can see it from both sides. Like the media are reporting it to make people aware of it, but by doing that, they've stoked the fires of it.
Yeah,
and I just feel like but at the same time, if kids are aware that it's not real, then it won't have the intended impact.
Yeah.
Unless it gets personal.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know where to stand on it.
I think it tacks on as well. This tacks onto the trend of when we were kids, or when we were growing up, when our parents were growing up, chain letters were a thing.
Yeah.
You would get a letter through the post.
Right, yeah.
And for some reason, because it was a physical thing that was addressed to you personally, it scared you. You thought it was real because it was targeted. Like you're saying, these Momo videos could get targeted. We've had to have discussions with my daughter in the past because we've removed WhatsApp from her phone. We got it for her because when she went for her induction day at school, at secondary school, she met some kids who made a WhatsApp group.
Right.
So they could talk to each other before they started school, so they could get to know each other. And it was really good.
That sounds like a good idea.
But the problem is now they're at school. There's lots of WhatsApp groups that people will get invited to.
Right.
So, like the horrible things that happen on these WhatsApp groups is like they'll message people, like have an individual one-to-one conversation. Oh, what do you think of this person? Blah blah blah. and they will tell you what they think of that person. And then in this WhatsApp group, they'll invite the person that they asked the question about, and then they'll send a screenshot of the conversation that just happened.
Oh.
So, like, while the other person's there as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, look what this person said about you.
Wow.
And it's horrific. So there's all that. So we've removed it because of that. But also, they send chain messages on text. If you don't send this message to X number of people, this girl's going to come and get you in your sleep tonight. And my daughter's sending them on. And we're like, why would this? Like logically in your adult brain, it's like, why would this message, if you hadn't sent this message, cause... So I have to explain to her, yes, I've had messages like that in the past and I ignore them. I'm still alive. I've had letters when I was a child. I ignored them. I'm still alive. Nothing's happened. It's not real. Why would this... Like, logically, why would... But kids' heads don't work like that.
No, of course not.
Oh, but my friend said it actually happened. Yes, your friend would say that. Because they want to scare you. Because that's what people do.
I remember getting the first kind of round of chain emails and thinking, oh, well, I don't know. If I
so I'm going to send it just in case. And it's easier to do. And then I got to a point obviously. Being like, no, fuck it, I just delete, you know. But you know, I was older than Chloe was. And you're like, well, I only managed to send the last one to 9 people rather than 10, and nothing happened. So,
what happens if I only send it to 7 people?
So is it only as 30% bad?
Maybe I'll just get a slap instead of being killed. I don't know.
Is that 30%? Is a slap 70% less worse than death?
Depends on your pain threshold.
That's a good point. How hard is the slap? Oh, God, this is going to be a thing.
But
this is a scale of 1 to death. Where does a slap fit?
Answers in an email to abhpod@gmail.com.
Oh, we could use Patreon on a scale of 1. Oh, God.
Yeah, so... But yeah, so that it's just been, but it's prime meme material as well. The Momo challenge.
Oh, it's brilliant.
You know,
some of the things you've been seeing are fantastic. Yeah, so like some of the stuff Chloe's now looking up are parody songs of Momo and things like that, which is good because I think that takes away some of the power.
Yeah, satire.
But the face is still there.
Yeah, the face is still terrifying.
Who would create something like that?
I don't know.
It's, again, I think it's Uncanny Valley.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can tell that it's some sort of construct, but quite whether it's a digital rendering or a
I think it's a physical
thing.
I think it is a physical sculpture,
right?
Because like on the video, they're saying that now, it could be camera tracking.
Yeah,
because like you on the video, from what I understand, it moves around. I think I watched the video back in last year when it came out,
right?
And went, oh God, no. But I think the camera does pan around it and stuff like that. But again, that could be camera tracking technology.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Who knows?
Momo happened and it's still happening. I'm wondering, like you say, if the media hadn't picked up on it, would it have already died out by now?
Yeah.
Have they prolonged this?
Well, I mean, it did, didn't it? That's the thing.
It did before, yeah.
It like you say, it was doing the rounds months ago and then disappeared. But
look at it, the media didn't mention it back then. It died out, but the videos were still there to be found.
Yeah.
Whereas now that the media have made people aware of it, will the videos get removed?
Well, that's the other thing, isn't it? I haven't seen anything anywhere that like YouTube or whoever is looking to remove these things.
Just demonetize them.
But I'm sure they probably will, though, right? I don't know what.
The ones that specifically target children, I think they will remove. The ones like with Peppa Pig and with the Momo at the end, they could remove that. They could send it as like a digital copyright strike because it's using a Peppa Pig episode. So it's copyrighted material. So they suppose they can remove those because they're targeted as children. But the original Momo video, which doesn't have the death message, it's just look at this fucked up model I've made or something like that. That won't get removed. So people will still have the original material there that they can remix in however they want.
Yeah. Just looking at Engadget says YouTube is removing ads from all Momo-related videos.
So there you go, demonetizing them.
CNET says YouTube says there's no evidence of videos promoting Momo Challenge. Telegraph UK, YouTube and Instagram failed to take down Momo challenge videos. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
YouTube is just demonetizing
And not...
people that don't deserve it. There's videos where children are. I saw a thing where there's videos where there's parents film their child doing gymnastics. He's 6 or 7 years old, and he is fantastic. He's a brilliant gymnast, and they used to do vlogs and film him at gymnastics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think they were taking the money from the ads and stuff like that and putting it away for him for later in life because it's his talent that's doing it.
Yeah.
Yet YouTube are well, no, that's a child. He could be targeted. People could target him and say nasty things about him in the comment. So we're removing the comment section from his videos. Now, the thing is, YouTube's algorithm, videos that have lots of comments get placed higher up in the suggestions, so therefore more money comes in.
Yeah.
But they're penalising this child because he might be targeted by bullies.
Who are they to say that, though? Who are they to...
So they're protecting the child,
Yeah.
but in protecting him, they're also penalising him, so he's...
Yeah.
They're reducing his possibility of making more money because there are arseholes out there who might bully him. It's well, what you do then is you monitor the comment section, and if people are bullying him, you close their accounts.
Yeah.
Instead of
taking it away from the content creator.
there's a huge movement at the minute where people are moving away from YouTube,
Right.
and going to other platforms.
Okay.
Because they're just
Interesting.
handling stuff like that terribly.
I mean,
it's like if we've got this content ourselves, we do this. Our episodes go up on YouTube.
Yeah.
If we played something with a bit of copyright material in it, we used to have our videos monetized.
That's right.
You got the Australia video.
Yes.
You remixed it.
Yeah.
Fair use. You sort of made a parody. You made your own content.
Yeah.
But then it was claimed by somebody else.
Yeah.
Because it used some of their audio.
Yeah.
So now they're getting the money off of a product that you made.
I made, yeah. But
because it had a
admittedly-
little bit. But the thing is, you've remixed it.
Yeah, but I didn't play any of it without audio over the top of it.
Without background audio and stuff like that.
Yeah, I spoke all over the top of it. It wasn't like I'd rip,
And I think they could claim it because it's got the video in it. So they see the video.
Right, okay, right, yeah.
And the video is owned by somebody else.
Yeah.
But it's like fair use.
But I spliced it with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
But people who play video games online, and they're commenting over the top of it, they're playing the game. Now, the content itself, the game models and stuff are owned by somebody else, but there's another person who is using it to make their own original product. So that now belongs to them, as it is.
And that's virtually the same thing, isn't it?
But ours got claimed, so that's another thing, is somebody will use it a little bit to make their own thing, and then anyone can make a copyright claim.
Yeah.
We could go on a video, make a copyright claim, and for that period of time while the claim's going through, because as soon as we click, I'm claiming this as mine, that person they don't receive any money.
Right, okay.
And then it could take weeks for them to get their video back, but for those weeks, they don't get that money, and they don't get it back retrospectively either, or retrospectively.
Yeah. Either or.
One of the two.
Yeah.
They don't get it back for that period of time that we've got that claim going. They don't get it back. We don't get penalised for making that claim.
Right. Weird.
You'd think it would go into a holding account until it was sorted, but it doesn't.
So where does it go? YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is why people are moving away from YouTube.
Yeah.
Because
But they've also handled
fucks
things like that Logan Paul thing really badly. And they've handled so much
PewDiePie,
badly.
fuck's sake.
Yeah, that guy's a fucking...
Racist?
Yeah. As well as, what's his face, that fella they did eventually ban, that right-wing American guy whose name escapes me. Shouty man. I think.
YouTube can be a toxic place. It can be a fantastic place as well. There's some brilliant stuff on there.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? It's the age-old thing with the internet, isn't it? You know, it can be the best and it can be the worst. it's more likely to be the worst.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because it allows anyone to have,
A voice.
yeah, freedom to say and do what they want. And then who is it? Who polices that?
Yeah.
That's the thing, and how it's a tough one, and I wouldn't want to be on the kind of on the board of people who say what is allowed and what isn't on YouTube.
Yeah, but it's not just YouTube either. I think BBC last night they had a program. It was Radio 4, Radio 5. They had a program where they had a flat earther on,
right,
talking about flat Earth and explaining their theories and stuff like that. And people got up in arms because there was nobody of science on there to counter that argument, which is weird for BBC.
Yeah,
but let's play devil's advocate again.
Yeah.
There's been plenty of times they've had a scientist on and nobody from the other side to counteract their argument.
Well, yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Who's wrong? Who's right?
Yeah.
We only think, oh, fucking hell, they should have someone of science because we know they're off their fucking rockers.
Yeah, yeah.
But they believe the scientists are off their rockers, so shouldn't they have a representative whenever there's a science programme? No, they shouldn't.
No. No.
Little real is realistic. Like, no, they shouldn't.
Lunatic fringe people should be held to account. Like, it's ridiculous. No.
But it's... I was just playing devil's advocate.
No, I know.
You know.
I'm not angry with you.
No. But yeah, it was just weird that BBC had that, like, they did have a flat earther on, but nobody there to counter the arguments. Very unusual.
Yeah, I'm just so uncomfortable with the fact that flat earthers exist.
Yes. There is that.
Yeah. Australia isn't real.
No.
And all that.
My favourite video is... my favourite picture is evidence that a basketball is flat. Have you ever seen that one?
Yes,
They've got the macro lens right down and it looks flat from that low angle. It's like, dispute it.
Yeah. Fuck you, flat earthers.
Yeah. Anyway.
Talking about space.
Space.
The Dragon capsule was launched.
Yeah, the Dragon capsule, that's the...
SpaceX's manned shuttle-y thing to the ISS, which is pretty cool. It's been sent up with a censored dummy.
Yes.
Not a real person, because actually Elon Musk is worried that it might
not work.
Not come back down properly.
Yeah.
Because of the shape of it, which you'd think would be something that they thought about in the design phase, rather than putting it into space and going, fingers crossed.
Have they gone with that, like the old high frequency mantra? That'll do.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. He reckons that.
How much did it cost? Millions upon millions. Yeah, it might work.
Yeah.
Give it a go.
The Dragon's back shell or heat shield has a somewhat irregular shape, and that could lead to temperature variations across the base of the capsule at hypersonic speed.
Hypersonic.
Yeah. Mr. Musk said it should be fine, but that'll be a thing to make sure it works on re-entry. Everything we know so far is looking positive. Unless something goes wrong, I think we should be flying... people this year, this summer, hopefully. So as long as it doesn't, burn up on re-entry...
Surely he's going to do more than one test, though.
You would hope so, right?
Because it didn't go wrong once.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you see it wasn't just a dummy that went up, was it?
Apparently there's 90 kilograms of stuff on there as well. Oh, no, there's a little blue thing. What is that blue thing?
That's a little cuddly Earth.
Is it?
It's a little Earth with arms and legs and a face, a little cuddly toy. That was in there. I think they called it their... it's something to do with gravity, because it's not strapped in, it's not tied down. So it's their gravity testing or something weird like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it must have been a joke. But...
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
SpaceX they're amazing.
It seems to be the only thing of Elon Musk's that's going well.
Tesla are doing pretty well.
Well, they
have their issues.
They're going to be shutting down all of their showrooms.
Really?
to save money, and they're also reducing the price of the Tesla 3 so more people might buy it.
Good. They will.
I'm sure they will, but if you can't test drive it because there are no showrooms,
That's a good point.
I don't know how
point.
that's going to work.
That's one of my favourite things about Blue Water is the Tesla showroom, because
Yeah.
I can sit in it.
Yeah.
They kept trying to get me to test drive one, because like half the battle is once someone's test driven one, they'll buy it.
Yeah.
I still don't have that much money, because it was a Model S they were trying to get me to sign up to test drive. I don't have that much money.
Yeah.
I might test drive it, and yes, I would want to buy it. I can't.
I can't. It's impossible for me.
Genuinely, I would go to you. Yeah, this is how much I'd earn, and you would laugh me out of the showroom.
Yeah. I don't earn enough in a year to pay
buy
for
one.
half of this car.
Like, it's fucking ridiculous. There's no way. Like a Model 3, I would want. But to be fair, like, there's more choice now.
Yeah. I'm going to look at an e-Golf, but I think it's still slightly out of my price range.
Yeah, so the Model 3, I think the base model is 30 grand,
Yeah.
which is pushing the limits.
Yeah.
And that's the basic version.
Yeah.
And most people wouldn't go for the base version. But there's loads of like Nissan and like I think
Yeah, the Leaf is pretty,
Hyundai got an electric vehicle now.
I think they do, yeah.
But there's a YouTube channel. It's Lawrence Llewellyn. Is fully charged.
Right, yeah.
And like
yeah.
he tests lots of different e-vehicles, and like there's some I've seen on them. Like that looks nicer than a Tesla on the inside. Like there's more. It's more intuitive,
Yeah.
I think. So, and it's got more features and a better battery, and it's
And
slightly
it doesn't
cheaper.
have a giant tablet in the middle of it.
I think it possibly does.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
But it
I
also
don't
has
know.
the normal dials as well.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's cheaper.
Yeah. And why
Slightly
wouldn't you go
cheaper.
cheaper for a while? I've heard Teslas are really good range-wise.
Yeah,
That's where they excel over most others, is they've got a better range.
And their active braking technology, I think, is. But yeah. Welcome to the
But
Top
for
Gear
like
section of Any River here.
But for the kind of driving I do, electric doesn't make any sense because
I've got nowhere to charge it either myself.
No, I'd have to charge it at work, and there's only 2 or 3.
But do they get
bays,
used?
And they get used by plug-in hybrids all the time, so it's not necessarily. I wouldn't always be able to get there, and then doing 3-pin here, running a cable in through my bedroom window or something from the street. It's not going to happen.
Not going to happen. And you'd need to use a transformer as well, wouldn't you? Because it's not straight from the plug to the car. You need a transformer as well. Where would you put it?
Not a fucking
For it to not get stolen.
Yeah. So, I'd love one, but it's just impractical.
It's impractical for where I live now.
Hybrid,
And the
perhaps.
thing is, to be fair, you don't need to be able to charge it at home. Like, in theory...
No, there are petrol stations around here with chargers.
Yeah, but also in theory, I could, if I got one, I could charge it at the Hilton, which is just up the road, and then walk to work from there, and then just go and pick it up on my lunch break once it's finished charging and drive it back. Like I could do that.
Yeah.
Because they're Tesla chargers, but you get adapters with the cars you buy anyway, don't you? So, in theory, I could charge it there and then drive, and then and I wouldn't need to charge it at home then.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. But
I'm not parking an electric vehicle like a Tesla in Parkwood.
No.
I'm just not doing it. I'm not doing that. A car at that price, I'd love one. I would love one.
Absolutely. Who wouldn't?
Anyway.
But yeah, the rest of his life seems to be falling to pieces, but
Yeah.
But SpaceX seems to be doing all right. I think SpaceX seems to be the thing that keeps everything else afloat at this point. Obviously, Tesla is a big thing in the US, I think.
Huge.
And there's quite a few around. I've seen a few on the roads around here, but not many.
I think there is one close by me because I see it quite regularly, sort of driving past. Like I've seen it driving around near my house, so I know they do exist here. And I did I see Tesla tweeted out the other day that like they were loading up the ships with the European Teslas.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it includes the UK or if it's only left-hand drives. But yeah, they're loading up containers for the UK ones now, or the Europe ones.
Yeah.
Have they opened up the factory over here yet? Are they building them over here?
I don't
Or are
think
they
so.
only shipping them to
I
here?
think they only ship.
Okay.
I think it's all in that gigafactory, isn't it, in like Nevada or something.
Yeah.
I think that's the only Tesla factory, isn't it?
I just like you just see it was all Model 3s as well.
Yeah.
Like there was a shot from like high up in the air, and it's just like here's a yard full. There's thousands of just like Model 3s ready to be shipped. It's insane.
Yeah.
So we're going to see more of those soon, hopefully. I want one. I really want one.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm in the same boat. I got the thing through the door the other day asking to come in and have a look at new models and stuff.
What, Tesla?
No,
Oh,
VW.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're just talking about e-vehicles in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there is, like I say, there is the e-Golf, and it's nice.
Yes.
But I just think it's going to break me financially.
Yep, probably. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that's far too.
To be fair, like we're saying, I can't afford this, I can't afford that electric vehicle. I can't afford any new vehicle at the minute. I'm still paying for my old vehicle.
Right, yeah.
But mine's not mine's not on hire purchase, so I can't just go in and change it and just carry on paying. Like I need to pay mine off before I can even think about doing that.
And part exit or something.
Yeah, it wouldn't be worth anything.
No, I don't. I think my Focus was worth about. I think they took $1,000 for it.
It's not bad,
and that was pretty good. I didn't expect that at all.
No,
but I think it's because I had a new clutch put into it, and
mine bodywork is just shot to shit. The engine needs a bit of work, so it's like it's not been well looked after by me.
Hands up,
my fault. So I would deserve the big loss of money, but oh well.
What else is going on in the world? Trump's an arsehole.
Still?
Yeah.
That's not new, is it? That's not news.
Nah. He walked out of the summit with Kim Jong-un, didn't he? Like, they came to no agreement.
Wow.
Because Lil Kim asked for complete end to all sanctions if he was going to denuclearize his one nuclear base.
Wow.
And Trump was like, no,
we're not going to do that. Yeah.
Plus, also, he was like, what about the other 2 nuclear sites that you've got? And apparently that took Kim Jong-un by surprise that he knew about other...
Have you heard of satellites?
Yeah. We have them.
Yeah.
But apparently the US and South Korea are going to stop war games in the area, which is one of the things that annoys the North quite a lot when they do their kind of practice military exercises. Okay. Yeah, like they fly jets and they do a lot of naval stuff around the coast,
So the North can see it just to sort
it's
of
like a show of power.
Deterrent.
Yeah. They're going to stop doing that entirely. According to the BBC.
It's going to antagonise, isn't it? So they're doing these nuclear missions. Oh, they got to stop these nuclear tests. It's like you keep fucking flying jets and stuff past them. Of course they're going to be scared
and like firing.
I mean, you're flying the jets because they're doing it. It's sort of a chicken and egg situation, isn't it?
It's a vicious cycle, isn't it? I guess. But yeah, so I mean, it's still up in the air, but this year seems to be the closest that they're getting to stopping all military action in that area of the world. Maybe it will bring the North and South back together again at some point. I just can't see it ever happening.
It's so annoying that we've got to credit Trump with this. That it might actually neutralise.
Yeah, it might be the one thing that we can't have a go at him about.
Because it is him. He has done this. I mean,
however, he then made a 2-hour address at a Democratic rally the other day where he just basically slagged everyone off. He laid into Robert Mueller, the guy who's investigating him from the FBI.
Oh, yeah.
He said, unfortunately, you put the wrong people in a couple of positions and they leave people for a long time that shouldn't be there, and all of a sudden they are trying to take you out with bullshit, okay? Real presidential language. He then attacked Jeff Sessions, former Attorney General, former FBI head James Comey.
This is everyone that's criticised him, isn't it?
Basically it was 2 hours of him telling everyone off for having a go at him. The Democratic Party and those critical of his approach to North Korea.
There's not been a lot of crazy stuff come out of North Korea recently, has there?
No, and if it has, it's been overshadowed by the crazy stuff coming out of the US and the UK.
Fair point.
Yeah, but no, there don't seem to have been any more kind of missile tests or like weird, half the cabinet being executed or things like that. I've not seen much
Killing
in the way
his
of...
girlfriend with a mortar.
Yeah, none of that. But yeah, he's what an asshole.
It's and I mean, Brexit news, nothing new.
No, we're literally
still don't know what we're doing.
3 weeks away from leaving the union, and there's no plan still, as far as anyone can tell.
And isn't Theresa May's basically gone, what we'll do is we'll have this vote, we'll have another vote on my thing, and if it doesn't go through, then we'll leave with nothing, and if it does go through, then we'll leave with my plan, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's basically what she's left it at.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, no. And I think Corbyn has basically said, like, no. We can't do this. He's put forward something different.
He's finally talking about a second referendum, which he should have been doing from the start.
Yes.
But because that's not really what he wants, he didn't do it. And now he's doing it far too late.
Last-ditch effort, isn't it? Basically. Yeah. I think what he wanted was he wanted hopefully one of his earlier plans to have worked. Because it would have been a better option. Because a second referendum isn't the best option, is it? Yeah. It's going to sort of upset the status quo. There isn't one. It's going to upset sort of...
The Brexiters.
But it's going to be a lot more destabilising, a second referendum.
I definitely will, because there's nothing more...
We're unstable enough as it is. Yeah. We don't need to be disabled further.
The thing is, there's nothing more frustrating than being told that you're wrong about, or having to admit that you're wrong about something. So if the Brexiters then all of a sudden it swings the other way, they're going to be even more furious than they are now.
Yes.
And it will destabilise things further.
I think what needs to happen is if they're going to hold a second referendum, they need to be very, very careful about it. And they need to come out and go, look, this is why we're doing it. And they need to be honest.
Yeah.
Say, look, this is why we're doing it, because what we have been doing hasn't been working. In all honesty, if we did leave, this would be the option. These are the benefits. Like, there are benefits to leaving, but there are also, there's a lot of cons. There are benefits to staying, and there are some
to leaving. Yeah.
But there are some things that aren't ideal about staying as well. Like, yes, it does cost a lot of money. However, there are reasons it costs a lot of money, and this is what we get for it. They just need to be honest. They need to make people aware of what they're actually voting for. They need to do what they should have done the first time. Stop having a slagging match. Don't fucking plaster buses in false claims. Which aren't necessarily false claims. Yes, we will stop paying this 350 million, which wasn't actually 350. It was more like 270 or whatever. We won't be paying all of this money to the EU, but we will end up having to spend it here. This is how much it's cost us to try and leave, and it hasn't worked. So, in fact, we spent all this money and got fuck all for it. Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Like, every day that there isn't a plan, and it's costing money just researching this stuff, and flying people back and forth to Brussels and negotiating. It all costs, and it's hundreds of millions.
It's hundreds of millions. Do you know what's more annoying? This is costing us hundreds of millions. We're losing all this money.
And nothing's happened.
And the MPs have given themselves a $3,000 pay rise.
Yeah, the fuckers.
What?
I've got a 3% one this year. 3%. Do you know what that adds to? Less than $1,000.
Not $3,000. So it's like... So anyway.
Bugger off.
Governments.
Yeah.
Hey, democracy.
Will of the people.
Democracy's great
Yeah.
when it's actually democratic.
And nothing will change on the immigration front because
Ever.
EU immigration is not the same as illegal immigration or immigration from outside the EU, which is most of the migrants coming into the UK.
Guess what? There will still be refugees and brown people coming into the country.
Yeah.
The thing you're scared of.
In fact, it may even get worse.
Fucking Brexit, look at these fucking Muslim rape gangs. Ooh, we need to get Brexit to get them out. That's not why they're here.
No.
They're not here because of the EU. Do you know who is here because of the EU? Pavel, who's doing your job, who stands next to you at work and does fucking twice as much work as you.
Yes.
It's more fucking valuable to your country and the country's economy than you are.
Mm-hmm.
Pavel, decent bloke.
Yeah.
He was actually. I worked with a Pavel. He's a really nice guy.
Good old Pavel.
Works a lot. Works really well. Bless him. He's fucking terrified.
Yeah. As you would be. Oh.
He just didn't know what they were voting for, Tom.
I know. It's so frustrating. But yeah, so, D-Day is approaching us and there is no plan as far as anyone can make out.
You're on your way into school with your homework book now, kids. You're no longer on the bus doing your homework.
Oh.
You're walking through the front doors.
Yeah. Shitting it.
Still doing your homework. Wondering if you're going to get a fucking detention.
Oh dear.
I don't know.
Hey.
I don't know anymore.
Nor do I. I'm going to lighten the mood slightly.
Please.
There was a research organisation called Renaissance UK,
Right.
which analyses the complexity of books so that it kind of ranks them so that teachers
No, yeah.
know where to aim things at.
In the curriculum, yeah.
And it's come up with the fact that Mr. Greedy,
Mr. Greedy.
the Mr. Man book,
Yes.
is only slightly easier to read than John Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men.
What? Is this on a comprehension scale?
Mr. Greedy, alongside Mr. Men favourites Mr. Tickle and Mr. Happy, is also considered harder to read than Roald Dahl's Fantastic Mr. Fox. The books are rated by Renaissance UK, which analyses text complexity. Jonathan Swift's Gulliver's Travel, the classic satire first published in 1726, was rated the hardest. Blah blah blah. Mr. Men books look really easy, but they are really high difficulty level, said James Bell. I mean, this article is beyond me, obviously. So the research helps teachers find the right books for pupils, rates books on a scale of 0.2 being the easiest and 13.5 being the hardest.
What's wrong with 1 to death?
Yeah, precisely.
What's wrong with a scale of 1 to death?
Where does Mr. Greedy stack up against a slap? I don't know.
I was thinking 1 to 10 and I thought there's a better joke there. What's wrong? Why? Who starts a scale at 0.2?
I don't know. It's very strange.
What would 0 be? Just no text?
0 would probably be no
Picture
text.
books.
So what would why not 0.1?
I'm sorry, picture books. I'm sorry, but picture books would actually be slightly harder to understand because you've got to come up with the story yourself.
Yeah.
What?
Mr. Greedy apparently was rated 4.4, while Of Mice and Men was rated 4.6. Now, I've got the opening lines to each of these books here.
Wait. I love Of Mice and Men. I don't know the opening line. That saddens me.
The opening lines of Mice and Men. A few miles south of Soledad, the Salinas River drops in close to the hillside bank and runs deep and green. The water is warm too, for it has slipped twinkling over the yellow sands in the sunlight before reaching the narrow pool. On one side of the river, the golden foothill slopes curve up to the strong and rocky Gabilan Mountains. But on the valley side, the water is lined with trees, willows fresh and green with every spring, carrying in their lower leaf junctures the debris of the winter's flooding, and sycamores with mottled white recumbent limbs and branches that arch over the pool.
It's beautiful. That sets such a scene.
Yeah.
That's so good.
It's a word picture, right?
It's so good. But there's a lot of... The thing is, there's words in there that are difficult. Like you had to sort of.
I stuttered over a couple of them.
Because they're unfamiliar words.
Yeah.
Like you.
I've never heard of the Gabalan Mountains.
No, so like to me that would be difficult for a child of like Mr. Men age to read.
Now, would you like to hear the opening lines of Mr. Greedy?
Go for it. I'm sure it's going to be just as beautiful.
Now, bearing in mind that this is only 0.2 more easy.
Yeah.
Mr. Greedy liked to eat. In fact, Mr. Greedy loved to eat, and the more he ate, the fatter he became. And the trouble was, the fatter he became, the more hungry he became. And the more hungry he became, the more he ate. And the more he ate, the fatter he became. And so it went on.
Now,
actually...
that, conceptually... Like, obviously, of Mice and Men, you're describing a scene. Quite easy to understand. There's a stream, there's mountains, there's trees. Mr. Greedy, conceptually, you've got to sort of, like, the cycle of he eats, he becomes fat, he gets hungry, eats, becomes fat, you've... That actually... I can understand.
Yeah.
Yes. So it is, like I said, it's comprehension, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shit.
It's amazing, isn't it? Because when you first hear it, you're like...
Easy to read, but to comprehend what is actually being said it's quite difficult.
It's still quite a word picture, isn't it? Because you can imagine this like circle of like, oh, man is hungry, he eats.
But we can because we're adults. For children who don't understand cycles, like the child has to understand that is a cycle that goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
And that's where it becomes... I think that's where the difficulty rating comes from.
Yeah.
We've had a revelation in this episode.
It's weird, isn't it, right? And the guy from Renaissance UK went on to say, of Mice and Men has a really low reading ability, but the text is complex and has an adult nature, which is what you said.
Yes.
In theory, you could give a 4.6 book to a year 6 child, but you wouldn't want to give them it because it has content about adult themes and so on. Yeah. So, yeah, exactly what you said, basically.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Which, when you first hear it, you're like, well, how can a Mr. Man book be that complex?
Yeah.
To kind of rival Mice and Men.
There's cause and effect and things like that. It's... I mean, when you're looking at it, when you're analysing it like that, it's difficult, but it's a fucking easy read. Yeah. And you don't have to understand everything in it to enjoy it. Like completely. It's like that particular paragraph, you don't need... All you need to know, he eats, he gets fat. He's hungry, he eats, he gets fat. That's why he's fat, because he eats a lot. That's all the child has to understand. They don't need to understand the cyclical nature of that paragraph.
But you can...
But when you're an adult, if you're going to analyse it, you can get that.
Yeah.
Has Joe read this article?
No, actually, no. It's something that I only found this morning.
Yeah,
I think it would, actually.
Yeah.
But...
That's crazy.
There you go. Roger Hargreaves is just as complex a writer as John Steinbeck.
Fucking hell.
Who would have thought?
That's crazy. That's great, though. I love that. I love like stuff like that.
Yeah.
What? Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah. And that's the thing about listening.
Yes.
Isn't it? And how you form an opinion and how that opinion can be wrong.
Yeah. The reason I think I understood that is because it links in with the fact that Chloe has always been a really good reader. She will sit and she will read books, and she will read quite complex books for her age. When she was younger, she's lost interest in reading now. But she used to sit and read books. And she's really good at reading. She's really good at reading. When she went to secondary school, came home with a reading book after she'd done some tests and things like that. And we're like, what the fuck have they given you that book? But when we went to a parents' evening, they told us, like, yes, she's really good. She can read complex books. But the comprehension, the understanding, because they've got every single book in her school's library, they have tests.
Right.
They have a sheet you can go on. They go on the computer. They can take a test to test their comprehension of the text they've just read.
Right.
Which is really good. So she was scoring quite low because she's a fast reader. She's a good reader. She's read. What happened in that book? I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
I'm the same. I will read a book and I will enjoy it. As I'm reading it, I'm really enjoying the book.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, ask me what happened in that book. I might give you a scene or two.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
It's comprehending what you've just read, and that's where she sort of struggles. She's getting much better. She's still bringing books back that she was probably reading in year 4 or 5 to read, but it's because it's like just learn, slow down, ingest what you're reading, understand
especially when
it.
you're studying English is about breaking things down critically and working out how language works, and how to use it.
It's something that I struggled with in school. It's like and like when you're reading a poem and they're like, and what was the poet trying to say? What image? And you're like, I don't know. I just couldn't come up with it, and that's a learned skill. Yeah, some people do have an innate ability to analyse text. Yeah, but it can be learned as well, and it's just something I never learned at school. I was never taught how to.
No, I mean, whenever I hear like my step niece, she's really good at English. Yeah, and she really enjoys writing and stuff. But the fact that they've been teaching stuff like syntax and complex sentence and paragraph construction and stuff like that from essentially primary school. Like some schools really kind of hammer it in to people, and I don't think my primary school did. It certainly didn't with maths.
No.
I am still rubbish at maths.
Yeah.
But I was woefully bad at maths when I was in school. I've since learned a lot more, not through actual study, but just through life.
Yeah. You do pick stuff up.
Banking and stuff, for example.
My mental arithmetic is a hell of a lot better now than it used to be.
Yeah, mine was shocking.
Needing to do it,
and there was no. There didn't seem to be any incentive for the school to make you good at it.
No, and they never explained why algebra was useful.
Yeah.
In school.
Yeah.
Like, we're teaching you this because if you want to get into this field of work, it helps here. Like, if they'd have told me at school, like, simple thing, like, especially with physics, like, or even algebra, because algebra, physics, sort of hand in hand.
Yeah.
You can use algebra to predict where a ball is going to land based on its weight, the gravity, friction. Like, you can use algebra, and I'd be like, wow.
Oh, right. Okay.
That would have really fascinated me at school.
Yeah.
And I probably would have gone into it. I understood algebra at school. I got it.
Yeah,
I was one of those weird people that I was like, yeah, it's that. And my friend, how did you do that? It's like, well, because this and that. Yeah. What do you mean? That doesn't make sense.
While I was doing it, I understood algebra. Yeah. I was never afraid of algebra class, and I never understood like those sitcoms or like school shows where like everyone would go, oh no, not algebra.
Yeah.
And I was like, why are people afraid of letters in numerical equations? It makes sense.
Yes.
But it does, sorry.
You're substituting it for something.
Yeah. The letter
it's a variable.
The letter is a number as well. Like
so that letter could represent any number in the equation would still work. Yeah. What don't you get?
Yeah.
They'll be like, what? It does.
Just the way your mind's wired, isn't it?
Yes. You could use this equation to predict what this ball is going to do and what this ball is going to do by substituting that letter for this weight and that weight. Yeah. Like, what? What are you doing?
What is there not to understand?
Yeah. But now I'm older, I'm like, yeah, no, that is a kind of weird.
Yeah. But also, I've lost the ability to properly understand it, I think, because I'm not using it all the time. Algebra now is more difficult.
Have a child. You'd relearn it.
Right, yeah.
I'm relearning stuff now. I am. I'm, like the amount of times I've gone to Khan Academy and been like, how do we do this? Have you ever used it?
No, what's that?
Khan Academy is brilliant.
Yeah.
Look it up.
Okay.
It's basically teaches you maths.
Okay.
Like from basic to advanced. And it's a guy with like a whiteboard app and he's just teaching you stuff. But they break it down and explain it step by step. It's really fucking good.
Okay.
And I use it to help Chloe with homework.
Fair enough.
That's fantastic.
The only place I really come into contact with algebra now is on University Challenge. And I never get to the answer before those weird kids.
Plus it's advanced algebra as well, isn't
it's
it?
Like ridiculous stuff. I'm happy if I get like 5 questions right in the entire half hour.
Yeah. But no, I don't even know where we got onto this. I don't even know where this came from.
It was comprehension. It started off from reading and then I changed it to maths.
To maths, yeah.
Because,
Oh, yeah.
But no, I understand. Like,
because you were talking about syntax and stuff. How advanced they get now in teaching.
And I was better with English than I was with numbers, but at the same time, I wasn't taught. I don't remember being taught sentence construction and and stuff like syntax and participles and things like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't taught as in depth as that, and it's like
the first time I came up against stuff like that, where you got conjunctions and things like that, and like you say participles, and the first time I ever came up to that when I started learning about that was like when I started looking at different languages, learning different languages. I'm like, I don't know what that means, and I have to look it up because I wasn't taught it at school. Chloe's coming home from school and she's like coming up with homonyms, synonyms, like verb, conjunctions, like participles, past, present, future, and I'm like, I didn't get this stuff at school.
No,
like verbs, verbs, nouns, pronouns, proper nouns,
that
stuff
was
like
about
that was
in depth.
That was about as advanced as it got. Like she's even coming home with like, this is where you place a comma, like at primary school.
Yeah.
This is where you place a comma. This is how you use a comma. This is what a semicolon's for. This is what a colon's for. It's like we were never taught.
No.
When to use a
semicolon.
I remember using or we probably were, but it was never hammered into us like it was.
No.
Because she comes home from school now and she has task sheets that she has to do from what she's learnt that day and how to use it. Our homework was just like, write a story. Write about what you did this weekend. She gets, write about what you did this weekend. Remember to use this. Try and use that. Use this and do this.
Yeah,
it's... And like it specifies, practice using what you have learnt. Whereas that's what we were supposed to do, but we were never specifically told to do that.
No.
We're children. You need to tell us this is what we're supposed to be doing.
The point is you're teaching.
Go and write it. Well, I'm going to write how I know to write instead of how you taught me how to write, because you haven't asked me to do it as you've taught me.
Yeah. I remember using a semicolon in something in secondary school. I think it might even have been... Would it have been sixth form? No, it wasn't. It was probably upper school, though, so 10 or 11, year 10 or 11.
Yeah. So that's probably like
14, 15, 16, something like that. And the teacher was like, Thomas has used a semicolon. Stand up, Tom.
Wow.
And like, he was like, does anyone else know what a semicolon is? How to use a semicolon? And like, it was like he'd never seen someone use a semicolon. It was weird. And I was like, well, this shouldn't be. That's what I mean.
Your mind was like, something's wrong here.
Yeah. Am I being set up?
You're praising a teenager for using a semicolon?
Yeah.
Something that you should have taught us?
Yeah. It was bizarre.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. It was never taught to us. I somehow used it in the correct way, and...
It's because you probably had seen it.
Yeah.
Because you read.
Because I read, and, it's just, very strange.
Yeah. But kids are getting taught that in like primary school now, semicolons and things.
So weird.
Yeah.
And much, much more advanced stuff. So hopefully, the future's bright.
Future's orange.
Indeed.
Anyway.
Tell you what else you could use algebra for, though.
What's that?
It's to work out the force of the slap.
Good point, yeah.
So that's your homework for this week. As I say, answers on an email to abhpod@gmail.com. How hard is a slap on the scale of 0 to death? Using algebraic formula.
We won't be able to work it out, but I'll give it to Chloe to figure it out for us.
Oh, God. So for this time on Anywhere But Here, I'm sure we've learned a lot this episode. My name has been Tom.
My name's been Ant, and it still is.
I don't know what to say.
Bye.